Hi, folks. So I'm going to talk about Manchester United a bit. Well, there's nothing else to talk about in any other areas, so that I do. Seeing as right now they don't seem to be doing much, and again, it was suggested the other day that Xerxes would leave, and straight away I just knew, okay, he's going to leave on the loan, isn't he? With a possibly a buy clause in there, which the other team can say no to at the end anyway, because that's what United can't sell players. They are bloody awful at it. Which is why, again, for me, come on. So Jim won't fix it. Have a close look at the likes of Wilcox and Vivell and understand that you employ people that won't qualify for positions. The reason why we're in the crap we're in, partly is that. Partly. Another reason is obviously £1.4 billion worth of debt, which is only going to get bigger. Basically, we have nearly about 290 million pounds that we still owe for players that were brought in that, again, we can't sell. They were given too high a wage. They're absolute crap. Anthony being one, Sancho being another, Mount, I think, is another one that we still owe money for. And all that money is due in next summer. 290 million. Talk about a club so incredibly badly managed. So, yeah, a lot of people are talking about the stadium saying they don't want to see Old Trafford going. Well, because of the 1.4 billion debt, Old Trafford has to go. It has to go, that they can't fix it. To repair Old Trafford, because you've got the canal alongside one of it, that causes problems making that side bigger. Massive problems. To even get it up to standard would cost around about 700 million. That's 700 million added to the 1.4 billion debt. Right? Because Old Trafford belongs to who? Manchester United. Okay. Therefore, that would go on the books of Manchester United, demand the money to get it up to scratch. If they say, no, let's build a new stadium, they could have that new stadium as a completely different entity. Therefore, the debt from that stadium would be a different entity to the debt for Old Trafford, for Manchester United side. So therefore, there's two separate debts. So when the Glazers, because they will, at some point in time, the Glazers will up and run. They will decide, right, they've done enough, they're not going to do anymore. Right? They will do that, yes. Because generally speaking, that's what people do. So they will decide that they're going to do that. They're going to up and run. When they do, they don't want either the 700 million or the 2 billion from building a new stadium adding on to the debt of 1.4, because that means pretty much, Manchester United's value would be about 4 point something million, about 4.4, 4.5 billion would be the value of the club. Then the debt would be over 3.5 billion. So that means that how much they would get for the club would be about 1 billion. They don't want that. They're greedy buggers. They are. They're greedy buggers. This family are greedy. The way they see it, I suppose, and you can get it. They put up with a lot of abuse from fans over the years. But then again, they've had abuse because of the way they behaved. When you come in and you leverage a club, so when you come in and you borrow money to buy the shares, but then you put the debt, that borrowing, onto the books of the club, so you never pay it back, the club does. That sort of behaviour, you're gonna get the fans hating you. You're gonna get that vile messages. You're going to get for years and years me wondering why on earth in America no one's actually taken a shot at these people, because they have the whatever Buccaneers in America, they've done pretty much the same to them. America, a country where they love guns. Don't do that sort of crap in that country, because people walk around with guns. Not a good idea to antagonize and cause stress to fans who can walk around with guns. But no one has actually tried to take a part of them, which I find quite blinking well amazing. Someone taking your beloved club and doing that to it for reasons why you might want to take someone out. That seems a pretty big blinking reason. It does. I'm not saying someone should do that. I'm simply saying, in the scheme of things, that seems like a pretty big reason why, if you're going to shoot someone, that would be a reason why. But nobody has. Which, again, for years, I've been, okay. But again, it's not something I'd want. Although, again, would it be a solution for Manchester United? No, because they're still leveraged, aren't they? Right now, too late. We'd have to go back in time and take the Glazers out before they leverage the club. The damage to Manchester United is done. What the solution is for it, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what the solution is, because, again, you need someone who is incredibly rich. I don't know. But someone who is far more rich than Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Someone who is far richer than him. Someone for who, 2 or 3 or 4 billion in debt would be nothing for them to clear. God will have to buy Manchester United, I think. Yeah. So, yeah. Or, one of these oligarchs, because there's some incredibly rich oligarchs out there. But yeah, and again, with oligarchs, what are they going to do with it if they bought it anyway? But right now, are United going to bring the players in that they need? Not with that sort of debt. If they already have, if they've got to reschedule 290 million, or basically, I think they've already done it. Actually, they've got another loan in to cover that 290 million, and defer that payment for another time. But I think they got higher rates to have to pay on that loan. When that's your financial situation, when that's the crap, again, it was, and it drove me insane at the time, when you have someone like Woodward in charge of the football, and because it's being so badly run, every now and again he'd go and spend 80, 90 million on someone like Pogba, someone like Anthony, or someone like whoever, Sancho. Or, there have been so many players that they spent huge amounts of money on that they still owe money for. Because, and again, how many of those players were they able to sell? None. Sancho has just left on a free. Newcastle think that they were badly run. Yeah. Not as badly. But again, all this stuff, it's what it is. It is. Do I expect Man United to have a good season? I expect Man United to finish around about 12th. 12th, I think, is about right. Based upon the fact you've lost Casemiro, you haven't replaced him. And really, last season, they were bloody lucky. They played poorly, but got results. They got goals when it mattered, but they were still playing poorly. Yeah. Playing in that way, as I've always said, when you can't play well, when your performances are poor, that's going to catch up and that's going to have an impact on the pitch. You're going to go on a run where those goals aren't going to come, and the performances are still poor. When that happens, Carrick is gone. When Carrick goes, where are they going to go? Because who is going to be stupid enough to come into this club? The way they're doing things, the way they're managing, you have to be insane as a manager to think, okay, this is a club to come into. Because they are so incredibly badly run footballers. And I say, so Jim said he wanted to bring the best of the best. Then he brought in Wilcox, who had never done the job he's doing at United to do that job. Vival, who had never done that job to do that job. Barada, to do the job he's doing, he'd never done that job before. For goodness sake. You bring in people that are doing bloody YTS to do the most important jobs above the manager. And best of the best? No. So Jim won't fix it.